March. Can you get those lights, please? It looks better on the thing. Okay, tonight what we're going to do is auto indexing. We're to that point. We should have done it last week and we kind of skipped over it. And this week what we're going to do is auto indexing. And I brought somebody in today. This is Chris Pogue. He's a federal court reporter. Been reporting 20 years?
20 years.
About 20 years. And I brought him in because he really uses it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and tell you that I do, because I don't. And it's kind of a difficult thing, but if you learn how to use it from somebody who knows how to use it like Chris, it can really be helpful. Some of the reporters that I've spoke with say that they still have to tweak it a little bit once it's in there, but you know, we're going to go through the tutorial. He's going to explain the tutorial to you guys, and then I think he's going to go into some jobs and then kind of show you how to do it. Okay? So I'm going to turn it over to Chris. This is Chris Pogue.
All right. And David showed me how to pull up this tutorial. I didn't even know it was on my computer. So y'all are in good hands.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'll just play this all the way through, and then I'll go over it, but I'm not going to stop it and explain different parts of it.
Let's see how automatic indexing is possible.
That's as loud as I can get it.
Eclipse. Eclipse automatic indexing can handle an unlimited number of categories of information. But in this example, we have an index of examinations and an index of exhibits. I've prepared several short block files that Eclipse uses as headings to introduce the information that it automatically collects. I've also set up several paragraphs to format the information in different sections of my index. And I've added index lines to a few of my block files, like the sworn file, which is set up to get the name of the witness and the attorney doing the examination. These block files will get inserted in the course of editing. So before proofreading and printing, I'll just place my cursor where I want the index pages inserted and press Ctrl-I for indexing. I'll index all volumes, and could even make a master index if I needed to. I'll be shown a preview of my index, and when I accept, my index is inserted. Within these short presentations, it's not possible to show all that Eclipse automatic indexing can do, so a separate in-depth ePower video tutorial is available on form fields and automatic indexing.
All right, so is everybody confused now?
That's hard.
Yeah, so this guy, I was trying to go back through my auto indexing after David called me and figure out how I got it set up, because I could not remember. And I came on that somehow on the internet, this guy Keith Vincent, and he I bought, I think it was like $70 for he had a CD, and he had these tutorials on there that he had put together like this, and then he had the block files that I needed, and I don't know if y'all have gone through block files yet.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so the block files basically were what I needed to do an automatic index.
Oh, you know what? We haven't gone through block files. That's going to be the next one.
Okay. Okay. Block file is just a fancy word for a file that's already set up the way you want it to look, and you take that. It's also called an include file, and so you would take that file and insert it into your transcript, and I'll show you in a minute. So for today, I'm not going to show you how to create, like how they went in and you would see some funny characters and an IN, colon. We're not going to go into any of that stuff because I didn't set any of it up myself. I didn't know how to do any of that. I bought it from this guy for $70 and went from there. So I skipped that whole process. So today I'm just going to assume that you already have these files because you bought them from him for $70 and now you're ready to create an index. So I'm going to go into, close this out.
You can just, actually what you can do, Chris, is minimize it
Okay.
and then reopen Eclipse again. And then also if you want to open it twice.
All right.
So this way you can just kind of minimize that and then kind of go into the tutorial again.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to not go back to the tutorial. Yeah. Okay, so things that you're going to want to put in your index are, like, for me, it's I'm going to be in trial. I don't produce an index for anything else except for a trial. So I've got a trial here. This trial was the Brooks trial right here. So I did it last year, and it was like 7 days, so 7 volumes. So I'm going to have all my witnesses. I'm going to have direct, cross, redirect, recross, further, redirect, further, recross, and sometimes even more. And then all the exhibits that you want, like exhibit 1 through whatever. And then you have defense exhibits, government exhibits. And this was a criminal trial, so it would be government exhibits and defendant exhibits. And then, so I'm going to go into, just find a direct. All right, so I'm going to get rid of all this. All right, so I'm going to put the cursor where I want it to be. Where I want, let's say that I'm going along, and you can see I hit, what is this? So on the right hand side, I did DRX, and I inserted direct examination, but let's say I didn't do that. And the judge said, okay, you know, Mr. Harris, you can start examining the witness. And so as I'm editing, I'm going to come in and I'm going to hit Alt-R, trying to go in order here. So Alt-R, and it's going to bring up my block files. I'm pointing here like y'all see. Okay, block files. Okay, and so then I'm going to insert my direct, and when I insert this file, it's already going to have all the index information. I'm not going to have to do anything. So move the display out. All right, so now you see the IN and the IN and the colon, and that's going to be for later when we create an index. But for right now, I would just hit, see if I forgot anything. Okay, so E is my hyperkey. Have y'all gone over hyperkeys, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so I use hyperkeys, and I would hit E, and I don't remember what her, let me see.
Liddell.
Okay, Liddell Coles. All right, so I would type in Liddell Coles, and it should put it in the second one too. So now I just hit enter because it's already got that information. It already has information in this blank. The attorney's name, Mr. Harris, and click OK. And it's going to take me straight to the next blank. So on cross I had Mr. Gordon doing the cross examination. The next is redirect. So all these are set up as I'm going along in my transcript so that I don't have to fill in all of this index information. All right, so let's say I've got everything set up exactly the way that I want it. I'm going to go, where do y'all put your page of index?
The second page.
Second page? Okay. So on the
No,
second,
sorry, it's the third page. It's the third. It's the title page, appearance page, and then index.
okay.
Yeah.
So in federal court, we have our just to show y'all, this is what ours looks like. We've got the style of the case, the date, what the hearing was or trial, and the appearances. Unlike state court, we'll have our appearances on the first page also. And something old like, I don't know why they put that in there anymore. I guess sometimes they used to use, maybe it was a typist, said something old, saying that a court reporter produced this transcript. So now I've got to insert, instead of typing index in the center right here and then a page right here, I have a file that already includes that. And that's called, it's something weird, but it's called Xchrono, just chronological. And you can call it whatever you want to call it. And I place a cursor where I want the index to start with, like the witness's name and the direct and cross, and I hit Control I, which is going to start the index wizard. And if we put everything in like we're supposed to, sometimes I'll forget to put in fill in some of those blanks, or I filled them in wrong or something like that, but I'll have a chance in here to either accept the index the way that it produces it or to reject it. So I'm going to index the current document like you showed on the tutorial. And one reason I would want to index multiple documents is if, like an attorney said, you know, I want this witness, I want to pay you for this witness, but I don't know which day it was on, and I might want this other witness, and he was on another day, so I can go in, you know, if I've done my indexing and filled in those blanks in my real-time file, and I can send him, hey, here's what it's basically going to look like, the index of all the days of the witnesses, and you can pick and choose what you want me to type up. But we don't have to file a master index. I think y'all do, right? So we just, in federal court, we just file an index for that one day. So I'm going to index a current document. And what I like to do to make sure this is right, because you see how it has a page 1 right here, or it has a 1 next to that. If I change that, it's going to change all of these numbers right here. So, and usually it adds that page, and I'm not exactly sure why, but so what I'll do is I'll go in before I do the automatic index wizard, and I'll search for Penelope Whittington and what page her direct examination started on to make sure I've got it right in here. And then I'll just click accept. If I click reject, I'm just back to square one. I go in there and I fix Penelope's, you know, direct. So this continued right here just means we had begun her direct examination the day before. And then it put government's, I had one exhibit admitted that day.
Does the exhibit always go on the next page, or is that just how this one ended up?
That's how this one ended up, I think, because it put an extra line to separate, so I manually have to go in and put like exhibit index in the middle right here. I don't have a file for that.
Okay.
I just didn't do one, but that's how it separates it. So that's kind of a shorthand version of how to do an index. Y'all have any questions? There's a whole lot to it, but if there's anything y'all had questions about, I know I went kind of fast. Y'all have any questions about it?
I guess on that government.
Yeah.
where you have government's exhibit number 111 admitted,
Right.
during the trial, what did you actually type in?
Okay. So let me search for that.
Like,
All right. So they go along, and the government attorney says, Your Honor, we're going to offer this into evidence. And judge says, all right, it's admitted. So over here, so my GAD right there with an asterisk is government's exhibit admitted. And so it knows to, basically it knows to insert one of those block files that y'all were going to talk about. and so it inserts that file into the transcript. So I don't have to. It does not insert the 111. I have to go in and fill in that blank, and like right here where I wrote CAD, and then I wrote 111, that it put it in here as government's exhibit number blank admitted, and then I had a 111 right here.
Oh, okay.
So I knew.
Just so you know.
So I know when I'm filling in the blanks. So I wonder what, because sometimes they'll talk about an exhibit for a page or two, and then I'm like, where's the stupid number? You know, so I have to go back up and find it. So a lot of times I'll write it right after that.
So I guess it's important that you have to make sure you direct and reclass, make sure you get it in there.
You don't have to. No, that's something that I do. A lot of times you don't have time for that. You're just witness ID. Or maybe not even that, maybe just QA, start your Q&A. And then you can always go back and insert this stuff, because you can do all this in editing. You don't have to do it as you're writing. I would say that's like even higher than, you're doing real time, but then you're doing real time and you're adding all this stuff. That's assuming you have time to write all this. And this trial was really good because Mr. Gordon was pretty fast, but Mr. Harris was pretty slow. So I got a break with him. I was able to get a lot of this written in.
So I have a question, and it's kind of not really related.
Sure.
Do you use a number bar? It looks like you use number bar instead of writing the numbers out, like 111.
Yes.
111.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I use I write them out when they're supposed to be written out, like
Of course,
1 to 10.
but instead of like doing 1 is WUN, you do just 1.
When it's supposed to be a number, I write it with a number bar.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
an address or.
Right. Right.
Scroll down just one. No, with the little arrow, and see if it'll. Right where the cursor is, just scroll down one.
All right.
Just arrow.
Oh,
See if it'll-
sorry.
Oh, it doesn't show. See, because I'll like on mine, whenever I put a block file in of a direct, it gives me like 8 lines of stuff to fill in. And I can hook on my computer
Yes.
and show you
Yeah.
all of those. And I guess it's chronological.
You have
whatever.
chronological, alphabetical, master. You have a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
And for us, sometimes we don't even file an index.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nobody's looking at us saying, hey, you didn't file an index. It would have to be an attorney
Oh, okay.
saying, I would like an index with this. And then
Mhm.
we say, okay. So, yeah, so this is, and a lot of times, I think, I asked another guy I work with that's a reporter, and he doesn't even put the parenthetical for the exhibit. So, so in federal court, there's some rules that are a lot more strict, and then there's others that aren't. Y'all have any other questions?
Guys, ask the questions now, because I don't know the auto indexing. So you need to ask the guy who knows.
I'm impressed with how clean you write.
Yeah. I've been doing it a lot. And I'm in the same place, and I hear the same words. I hear marijuana, cocaine, and methamphetamine. Yeah, and it's all one stroke. I try to write everything in one stroke. So
What is your brief for marijuana?
MARN, I think with an asterisk. Yeah, and heroin's HERN, and methamphetamine's FMM, and so it's like,
FMN?
yeah.
What theory did you learn?
I learned the same one as David.
Let's do that.
Yeah, so I'm supposed to write marijuana in like 10 strokes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier just to alphabetically put it in rather than just stroke it out.
Yeah, that's how we learned. I don't know what y'all are learning, but we learned to write
Well, and they're
pretty long.
some of them have learned
And Marx.
Marx theory.
Okay, that's great.
So everything, you can do 9 paragraphs in like one stroke. I don't understand that cat's writing, but I mean, that's a
Yeah.
topic for a different day.
Yeah.
But, maybe go through it one more time, man. Go
Sure.
through it one more time and just, because I really don't think they got it. They're just
Okay.
not saying anything.
Yeah, so I'll go through another transcript I'll go through another date. All right. So I'm gonna get rid of the index. We'll make another one. Page break.
So the index you're going to do at the very end, after you've already put in your appearance page, title page, right?
Right. You want to do the index last
The very
because
last.
if you do it before you're finished, and I mean finished with every volume, then because I may spell a word different, maybe I find a different spelling for it, and on day one I was doing it wrong, and it changes the line number, then I've got to go back and redo my index again. Which with this, it's no big deal. But really, this is the last thing I'll do. Like when I have a multi-volume trial and I'm typing it up, I'll leave this index page blank, and I'll come back at the very end when I'm ready to file it.
Can you go to page 1?
Yes. Read all this.
And
All
say
right.
it right here.
All right.
I don't know if you can do this, but how did you bring that in?
Oh, bring this file in?
Right.
Okay,
That's the first thing we're going to do before the index page.
Y'all are gonna.
That's the block files, that's the
Right.
next thing we're gonna do.
That's
the
what
next
y'all will
thing.
talk about.
Okay. So we're going to end up doing those things first and then the index,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Correct. So, all right. So I'll go to, my first blank is Yvonne Quintanilla. I want to take her out of there. Let's say that I didn't write.
You see how he's coming down? It doesn't show it on the screen. And if you print it, it doesn't show it. But on the computer, it shows it. It shows the information that he's putting in. Y'all see that? Go up one.
What is
Yeah.
that for? I'm kind of
Okay.
confused.
This IN and the colon,
Uh-huh.
all that means is software. This is what I want you to put on the
input.
index page.
Okay.
So that
Okay,
IN
so that's part of the indexing. That's going to say this. If whenever you talk about Yvonne Quintanilla, that one thing's going to show up.
when I begin the index wizard,
Okay.
and that's Control I at the very end. When I do Control I, all it's doing, the software is going through and looking for every line that starts with IN.
And you
colon.
put that in when you're writing or afterwards, or
Let's just assume that I'm going to do it as I'm editing.
okay.
So we're editing. All right.
Or you're doing it.
I'm taking that out. All right, so I haven't put in that it's cross-examination. And so I'm gonna hit Alt-R,
Okay.
And that's because you know it because you did that
right,
RECX over there on the right.
right, cross-examination,
Okay.
yeah. And so I hit Alt-R, it's gonna bring up my block files. All I do is start typing recross, so R-E-C-R. So this, I select it, I click open. It inserted that file.
Okay.
And okay, I think okay, so this is by Mr. Gordon.
So the gray that you're typing in now is connected to the recross examination you just put in.
Okay, right here, all this gray,
Okay.
it's this whole line right here
It's for
is
the re-
everything that's gonna go in there. All this S period and TR1 and P and X chrono, don't even worry about any of that stuff because you're gonna pay someone $70 to give you all those files, and maybe when you purchase Eclipse now they give you a lot of those that are already set up, but every index is so different. You know, you've got Texas and federal and whatever state you might be working in. But so I put my cursor anywhere before this blue blank right here, and y'all probably get to blanks. I press E to fill in the blank. and I know that I'm going to be typing in Mr. Gordon for, and this is only for the index. And it's gonna, so everything else is filled in. Mr. Harris for further redirect. And don't worry about that, that's just a header. We have to put headers on. And then I had a new witness. So this was the government's witness, direct exam. I've got my index line here. This index line right here is so the software knows who the witness was.
Okay.
And so when you notice the index, mine's pretty simple. I made it real basic. I just have the witness's name all the way to the left, and then all the way to the left I start, all you'll see is direct exam by Mr. Harris, a bunch of periods, and the page number. So I'll go to the beginning of the document. Let's say that I've filled in all of those blanks. I'm going to bring in a file that, instead of typing index in the middle, like it's supposed to be the way I want it to look, I have a file that does this where it has index already bolded and page over here, and all of my page numbers will know to go to this line over here. Don't need 2 page breaks. Alright, so Control I begins the automatic index wizard. I'm going to do this current document. So I just click next twice. It's going to bring it up, and I didn't look. And then also, I didn't look to see what page that started on, but let's say it's correct. It's page 508, or let's say it's 507. I'm going to just click this one, and it changed it to 507 now. And let's say I don't know if I filled in all of these blanks. I can go over here to the right, and I can drag this down, and it's going to show me my whole index. And it looks like everything's filled in. Here you see the witness's name, and then it just starts right over to the left, direct. So it's nothing fancy with mine.
So David, since you don't use the index, how do you do this?
I just go through, and as I'm proofreading it, I already do it. So like I have my index already printed out. I have my witnesses already in
They
there.
just fill it in.
Yeah, so I just fill it in.
And then
So
go
when I go in,
manually type it in?
yeah. Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder.
Ooh.
That's what he's preaching to
Turn that
us.
thing off.
The teachers, the
Yeah.
students become the teacher. All right, so I'll accept it, and I'm finished.
Has there ever been an instance where the number somehow just, like, the top half is correct and the bottom half somehow is off? Or is it just always
No, it
correct?
works really well.
Okay.
But the hardest part is getting it set up correctly. So that's the most time-consuming thing. I think that's what keeps most people from pursuing it is, hey, I use this thing and it never comes out right. I spend all this time taking out lines and taking out this and taking out that, and it just gets to be a big hassle. And there's other things people want to do than, get frustrated by it. So, I had a whole lot of time on my hands at some point. So I said, I'm just going to try and figure this out. And it kind of made sense to me, and I went with it from there. But if I would have fought it much longer, I would have given up on it. So, y'all have any other questions?
I mean, not until I actually do something with it, I understand I'm supposed to go into it.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it may be more. You guys may have to take another, different Eclipse thing later after you get out. After you get out and you really understand, because like the stuff now you don't really understand because you're not living it. We're going to live it in about 3 weeks because we're going to do a deposition, we're going to do a court hearing and all of that stuff. So we're going to do a little bit of it. So you're going to kind of know a little bit of it. But this will make a little bit more sense, and I apologize for that. I didn't think we were going to really need the block files.